Hello, I'm Mitra Sorrells in the PhocusWire studio, and I am joined by Juanjo Rodriguez. He is Chief AI Officer at Lighthouse. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
So let's talk about hotels and data in relation to AI. So we know that hotels have more data than ever. Why is it still so hard for them to act on it? And what do you see as kind of the bottleneck there as far as their strategy?
Yeah. So hoteliers have been telling us for many years that they have lots of data from lots of providers and tools they work with, but those tools don't talk to each other. So the issue is not so much that any one of those is a bad vendor or provider. Actually, they're pretty good. But it's almost impossible to get the full picture.
Yeah.
So the need that was impossible to cover until now is, can please you build something that is able to connect all of those systems? And that was too complicated. And now suddenly, it is indeed possible with AI. That change is what enables the complete new approach to understanding the data and therefore making sense of it, getting insights and then acting on it. So that idea of all of my data in one place has been a need forever, but there was no solution until now.
Yeah. So we're potentially on the verge of seeing a lot of advancement. So let's talk about that. And I know that, at least for right now, a lot of the AI in travel is very general purpose technology pointed at hotel problems. What does it take to really build AI that understands more of the commercial side of hospitality, and why does that potentially matter for a revenue team?
Yeah. So the revenue teams and the marketing teams at hotels know very well what they are doing. So if you use generic AI, you get okay answers. They look answers that look really great for someone who is not a revenue manager, but are obvious to a revenue manager. So there's not a lot of value added. If you then train AI specifically on hospitality, then you get the best version that a revenue manager would build over time in 1 minute into 60 minutes at a fraction of the cost. So that's why it's not that the generic AI is not right. It's that it's not good enough to do the great work that you want the hotelier teams to do.
Okay. So, of course, one of the things that there's been so much talk about and continues to be is this idea of the autonomous agent, the AI that really does everything for you. I know, Lighthouse is taking a bit of a different line where the human stays involved in the commercial decision. You have what you call your AI teammate, Earnest. What does Earnest actually hand back to people to make the call?
So Earnest is our name for this idea of the AI that helps commercial teams internally when you are making commercial decisions. It's trying to do basically two things: to make you smarter and to save you time. The make you smarter is this idea of all of your data in one place, surfacing insights that would have taken forever for you to find out, or even that you may have missed just because of lack of time. And the other element is to save you time, because there are many in all of our position, anything you do for life in work, a lot of that is repetitive.
Yeah.
So within revenue management, a lot of things you have to do all the time, which anyone could do. They are not using your brain in particular, like copying data from here and do this Excel, running scenarios. So all of that, you can create routines and automate that process for you, so that you are much more focused on decision making and much less on moving, copying and pasting and just preparing things for others. All of that you can unload, because again, a machine can do that without your criteria, but then there's a lot of decision making that you have to do, and that's why this idea of the human keeping the decision is key. And if anything, the feedback we get from the clients is, we don't want full automation yet.
Yeah.
We want our teams who know what they are doing to become much more efficient with us.
Okay, so let's get a bit more specific then. Can you kind of walk us through what would change for a commercial team, let's say in the first week of using Earnest?
Let me give you a couple of examples. Almost everyone has to prepare a report for your owner, your GM, your head of revenue, whatever, for the previous week results or the previous month results or the forecast for the next month. You can use the Earnest interface to define exactly what you want, and then you can have Earnest create a PowerPoint for you that you can immediately share, and you get that delivered Monday morning at 9 a.m. Wow. So that's one of the things you could do. No? Those things are kind of obvious that you have to do. They were taking half your day on Monday, and now it's immediate. The other one is to do things that are more elaborate. One example comes coming back of something hard to do is a displacement analysis. So when you have a group coming, there's always a trade-off between, do I take the group of a lower cost per unit, or do I keep that for, let's say, transient, for non-normal guests to come. It's very hard to understand all of the implications of this. So AI is very good at taking all of the business information and giving you a recommendation on this.
Okay, yeah, some really concrete steps there that it seems like it's certainly going to be helping with. So let's look now even farther into the future. So let's say 18 months or so ahead. Where does AI take commercial strategy in hospitality? And I'm also curious what you think vendors should definitely be offering. Like what should hospitality buyers kind of keep in mind?
We look at the process in 3 steps. The first one is to surface insights, to tell you, hey, this is important. The second one is to give you a recommendation, because I can tell you, you have a problem with pricing on the weekends, but you don't know the solution. So the second one is, and this might be the solution, so recommendations. That's kind of where we are now. The next one is to give you action steps, which either you take or the system takes automatically. So what we envision is that over time, as you get confident with recommendations, you will unload more of those steps to be taken automatically by your different systems and AI. So that if there price change needs to be done, then it's done automatically. And then you can review afterwards, but you don't have to go and do it yourself. And then what we expect to us is that the work you are doing becomes more strategic. That there's, I think, a lot of pockets of value that you cannot exploit because you don't have the time and attention to pay to them. And this will liberate your time to do that. The way I see that personally is that everything a revenue manager or marketing manager does is a trade-off. You can either do this or that. Nothing is all obvious because then everybody would be doing that. No? And trade-off is something that is very personal, and that's where the magic of a really good professional is.
And just to the kind of second part of what I was hoping to hear you talk about is what would you say hoteliers should really demand from any vendor that they're talking to related to AI?
I think we are, for all of this that we are mentioning to be true, systems have to connect to each other. So now AI has made that simpler through things like APIs, MCPs, so everything has to be a bit more open so that I don't have to go through so many hurdles to connect to whatever data you have wherever in that hidden somewhere in the system. No? So everyone should be able to surface the data so that as a hotelier you can take advantage of everything. And that should be out of the box. Everyone in the industry spends way too much time and complexity on solving integrations. That's a major bottleneck. And so you should go for someone who is very open to collaborate with everyone else.
It definitely sounds like we're moving it to a time when there's going to be a much more level playing field among the hospitality industry, whether you're big, small,
That's one of the major things in AI, that the AI is available to everyone. Because it's not very expensive. So you don't have to be Hilton to pay for this. You can be an independent hotel and the cost. It's true that if you want to build something very, very specific for yourself, maybe, but you can get 80-90% of the value at a very low cost just by using things that are specifically made for you, like the ones we're building and others in the space. No?
Okay. Well, very optimistic outlook for the hospitality industry. So that's good.
Look, there's this thing that some people are saying that AI is going to take your job. Actually, I see the other way around. AI is giving back your job to you, because the part of the job you liked, not the one you don't like. That's the one you can offload.
No, that's a great way to look at it. Wonderful. Juanjo Rodriguez, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks.
All right.
Pleasure.
Thank you.